All right, you can be seated. I want to appreciate very much God for this opportunity and as well the leadership of the church for giving us this opportunity to have this program, but especially myself for this session. I wouldn't be taking much, but we are going to look at the process of winning scholarships. Winning scholarships from the search process to selection process. Okay? Are the slides being projected? All right. So we've already looked at how to position ourselves. As established, most of us who are here, we are serving core members. But we also have people who we call young professionals. They are no longer serving core members. They may be working in one field or the other. And for both, whether serving core members or you've already passed out, it's possible that you're looking for opportunities. What's the next thing for you? And the next thing could be getting a job or another job. And the next thing could also be furthering your education. You want to move on to the next step. So you already have a bachelor's degree, whether it is the Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Engineering, and so on, law, medicine, whatever, you have a bachelor's degree, or possibly even an HND, right? So you may be looking at going to the next step educationally. We know that Nigerians, we price education a lot, quite a lot more than other countries, especially the Western countries. And most of the times, it seems like the next logical step that after your first degree, you move on to your next degree, because it's believed that when you have a next degree, a higher degree, you are placed in a better position to be able to gain certain opportunities. Some companies, like for example in the banking sector, they carry out graduate training programs, right? And you find out that people are applying both those with first degree and second degree. Those who I know of somebody who applied for the graduate training program, I think with Zenith Bank a while ago. And those who came in with a first degree were taken in as contract staff, while those who came in with a second degree were taken on as full-time confirmed staff immediately. And of course, we know in the banking sector, if you're a contract staff, you are doing the same job with somebody else who is a direct staff of the bank, but the pay, the benefits are much different. There's that disparity, right? So, as I said, we place a lot of value on further degrees, getting the next degree and the next one and the next one and the next one and so on. Just another example, I had the opportunity to teach postgraduate students, and one of the postgraduate students, she came in for a postgraduate diploma in computer science. She didn't have a very good grade for her first degree. She had a third class. So she came in to remedy that by doing a postgraduate diploma in computer science. And she was telling me that, by God's grace, this is just the beginning. Please help us. We want to pass, and so on. By God's grace, after this now, I'm coming for my master's, and then I'm going to come for my PhD. It just seems like the next logical thing. People want to go in for the next degree. But we know that one of the limitations sometimes in going on for the next degree is funding, especially if you are thinking of furthering that degree outside Nigeria. Within Nigeria, to a large extent, you can still hustle. It's still possible. Tuition fee can be as low as 250,000 naira per session. All right, so it's doable. You can hustle and get it. But what if what you're eyeing is a master's degree or a PhD in the United Kingdom, in Canada, in US, in France, wherever? The issues there are funding. Their fees for international students are way higher than home students. That's their citizens, right? Where, for example, a home student can be paying in the UK, a home student can be paying, let's say, £6,000 per session for a program. An international student may be paying as high as £18,000 for the same program. You'll be under the same teachers, the same setting, everything, but it's way higher. Now, you know the current state of the Nigerian economy and the value of the Naira. Can you please convert £18,000 to Naira? Can somebody do that for me very quickly? How much is the naira to the pound? How many naira do we need for 1 pound? About 2,000 naira just to buy 1 pound. Please, can you convert? 18,000 pounds gives you how many millions of naira? 36 million naira for a 1-year master's program. How do you get that? How many of us here have 36 million naira? All of us have it, isn't it? After all, I'm a millionaire. Is it not? All right. So what options then do we have? The options are majorly scholarships, right? So we'll be looking for scholarships. And we have to, just as you position yourself in a good place to be able to get a job, you also have to position yourself to get a scholarship. But let's look at what a scholarship is not. Okay? Most of the times, sometimes we look at a scholarship as being the smartest. They are awarding scholarships to, let's say, 5 people, 10 people, whatever number of people. We think it's only the gurus. It's only the first class graduates. It's only the smartest people that can get the scholarship. Most often than not, that is not the case. It is really about alignment. How do you align yourself to that program? How do you align yourself to those who are awarding the scholarship? It's about your strategy. What strategy have you put in place? We're going to see some of these things. And also about clarity of purpose, clarity of your statement, and so on. Most applications, scholarship applications, will generally fail. Number one, because of generic writing. You're just writing in general terms. I am a graduate. Yes, there are many other graduates. I am passionate. Are you the only one who is passionate? Generic statement, cliches, poor fit. You studied microbiology, all right? And you want to do a master's. But you are applying for masters for those who studied physics. That's a very poor fit. How do you intend to cope? It's not just apply. Some people will say it's better to apply to 100. Maybe in case possibly God will favor me, possibly I'll get 1 out of 100. If you apply to 100 wrong places, you will get possibly 100 no responses, right? But if you apply to 100 right fits, certainly the 100 cannot reject you, all right? So poor fit. And another thing is weak communication. How do you communicate? How do you sell yourself? Remember, you are here in Nigeria applying for a scholarship in the US. They are not seeing you yet. How do you communicate? We are going to look at some means of communication using your SOP, statement of purpose, and so on. So how does the selection of scholarship really work? As I said, it's not really about being the smartest. How do they work? The first thing is the fit. How do you fit into the program? What's your qualification? You studied law. Are you applying the position that the program that you're applying to? Is it a law related or it is a science related? Something. What's your fit qualification? Do you have the right qualification? And sometimes they may, another thing is intelligence. They may state, we want only first class applicants, first class graduates to apply. Or it could be, 2-1, 2-2, as the case may be. What's your fit in terms of your qualifications, the degree that you have that you want to step up to the next level for? For example, you did something microbiology, health related, and then you're applying for a master's of in public health. That's related. So qualifications, intelligent. What's your grade? Sometimes there may be age restrictions. They said, the applicant should be between 20 to 35 years old. That means if you are 36, are you going to apply? Maybe not. But it simply shows that you may not be the right fit in the age bracket that you're looking for. Sometimes some of these scholarships are restricted to certain nationalities. They may say only those from maybe not even all African countries. They may even have a list of the African countries that are eligible to apply. Some scholarships will tell you it's only for their own nationals. Like, for example, if you look at scholarship applications, especially in the UK, a lot of beautiful scholarship opportunities. Beautiful. I mean, when you read through what their labs do and all that, you start dreaming. Then when you sleep, you dream and see yourself in UK already doing that program. But it's restricted to only their home nationals, their nationals. So nationality may be one of the things that they will consider. Another thing is your clarity, and it shows how well fit you are, the complexity of your personal statement or your statement of purpose. Most of them will tell you to write either a statement of a personal statement or a statement of purpose. We're going to look at examples of statement of purpose. So how clear are you? We want to see that would be one of the determining factors for whether you get the scholarship or not. Another thing is your claims. What are the evidence to the claims you make? You say that you are intelligent. You say that you are hardworking. What claims have you attached in your CV? What claims have you attached in supporting documents? They want to see your grades. So most likely they're going to ask you to attach a transcript. If you have not started processing your transcript, please do. Don't wait for an opportunity, even if it's a student copy, especially for universities in, I think, the UK, in the US, I think possibly even Canada. Before they get the official copy from your institution, they'll want to see a sample. So if you can have access to your student copy, please do that. You'll be able to attach it together with your applications. They want to see your transcript. What courses did you take at the undergraduate level? What was your grade in those courses? Because some of those courses will directly align with the program that you are applying for. They want to see how strong you are in those areas. Another thing is your research output. I'm going to ask a question. How many people, after you did your projects, everybody here did a project, right? Final year project. How many of us have published a paper from our final year project? You have a publication, a research publication from your final year project. Okay, I can see one hand up. Okay. Another question. How many of us still remember our project topic? Okay. Quite a number of people. When last did you visit the document, your project? When last did you open it? Did you look at it? It's been a while, right? Okay, done and dusted. Immediately you just pack everything and you forget about it. All right. Most of the times, something that will position you well is to have a proof of research output. What was the result of it? You didn't just carry out, well, in Nigeria, you just carry out the project because, number one, maybe your supervisor gave you the topic, right? So you just did it. Let me just finish, and dumped it and went. But they want to see how good you are in research. And you can only prove that by showing them some form of research output, a journal publication, an article that you published. Remember that your postgraduate degree has the research component is a very strong component in it. It's not just about coursework. There's a very strong research component. And one of the things that they want to know is how good you are. How capable are you of carrying out individual and supervised research? Now, I'm saying this also from a point of experience because I've been privileged to write recommendation letters for people. And one of the questions that they would usually ask is, what is the applicant's research capacity? How good are they in research? What's the confidence level you have that they will be able to carry out postgraduate research? So please, even if you didn't like your project and you were thinking of applying for a scholarship for a master's abroad, go and dust your projects that you dusted. Go and dust it off. Look for how you're going to extract some form of research output for it. The results that you've got. Just write a literature review, put your results, publish it in one of these, show something. You'll be able to attach that as proof that when you say that I am good in research, this is a proof that you're good in research. And also another key point that they look out for is leadership qualities, leadership skills. Very important questions. They'll usually ask recommenders to make a statement on leadership qualities or leadership capacity of the applicant. So, those of you who run away from leadership, you have the opportunity to be a coordinator of a certain committee, a coordinator of a certain association, a club, and so on. Please embrace those things. They are part of your CV. They are part of the differentiating factor. Be able to say, oh, even class rep, you can claim it. I was class rep. I was a class representative of my class, and I was in charge of liaison with staff and the faculty to coordinate lecture. Sell yourself. This is part of it. So they are looking at your qualifications, at your intelligence, how do you fit? They are looking at the clarity of your statement of purpose, and they are also looking for evidence. What is your scholarship application strategy? The first thing is for you to have targeted applications. Just like there are different sites that post scholarship opportunity, employment opportunities, there are also quite a number of sites that post scholarship opportunities. Search out targeted applications. Look for the ones that best fit you. They fit your qualifications. They fit your skill set. Look for those ones and make sure you send in targeted applications to them. You're also looking for deep alignment. You want there to be an alignment between you, your research goals, your skills, and the faculty. When I'm talking about the faculty, I'm talking about the staff in that department, the professors, the doctors. Their details are usually online. You search for them. We'll look at that as well a little bit further. Okay? And then early preparation. It's important you start preparing now. It is not when you hear of a scholarship opportunity now that you now start, and I've not updated my CV since I left school. Please, in fact, if possible, every month, or you can set a deadline for yourself every quarter, or as soon as you acquire a new skill, as soon as you get a new experience, update your CV. Make sure all your documents are in one place, in the right place. Do you have a folder on your phone or on your system containing all your credentials, your qualifications, and so on? Make sure that you are always prepared. Preparation is very important, early preparation. So where do you find opportunities? As I said, there are some sites, scholarship opportunities for Africa, and so on. You can get opportunities on LinkedIn. The other presentation mentioned LinkedIn. Please brand yourself. If you are not on, how many of us are on LinkedIn? Let me answer that question first. You're on LinkedIn. Okay. How many of us have a good profile? You know that your profile is when an employer or somebody who is offering scholarships, you apply for a scholarship and you say, they may just decide to go on LinkedIn and just search for you, just like that, just to see what you're doing. How many of us, you know that I have a good profile? Let me see your hand. Your hand. So please, I encourage us, even if you are not looking for a scholarship opportunity, even if you are not looking for a job, even if you are self-employed, have a LinkedIn profile, and sell yourself on LinkedIn. You can also get these scholarship opportunities from the university websites. Most of the university websites will have a funding page, and they'll tell you all the possible scholarship opportunities available for that institution, and you also see the criteria for applying. Some of them will tell you must be a student already to apply for that scholarship. You are not yet a student, so this is not the one I am applying for, right? And and so on. Some will state, as I said, eligibility criteria, maybe age, nationality, your CGPA, and so on. So just browse through, identify the university. First of all, identify the country. After identifying the country, what are the universities there? Search for those universities. When you get them, check their funding pages, and you'll be able to get the one that you think is the best fit for you. Another one is government schemes. They are for certain countries, for example, like Germany. Most of their scholarships are done through the DAAD website, D-A-A-D. You can just search for DAAD. D-A-A-D. You see, it's kind of like an aggregate for scholarship opportunities in Germany. And several other countries like that. I think I heard China too. There's an aggregate. You have to do it through certain predefined agents, and so on. Some government will have scholarship schemes. I know in Nigeria we have the Federal Scholarship Board. How many of us have heard of the Federal Scholarship Board? Okay, how many of us have applied before? Okay, quite a number of us. Yeah, so those are certain opportunities, but they have bilateral scholarship opportunities where Nigeria takes part of the funding and the host country also takes part of takes care of the other part of the funding. So those are opportunities. Research labs. And most of the times, these research labs, you will see them on LinkedIn and other scholarship databases. So this is that you can get scholarship opportunities from. So how do you filter which one is right for you, which one you should apply for, which one do you think, there are high chances I could get this one, and so on. First one, we've talked about fit, eligibility fit. How eligible are you? basic eligibility, nationality, age, qualifications, and so on. The other thing is you think about the competitiveness level. So a scholarship will either be fully funded or partially funded. Fully funded opportunities are usually very, very competitive, very extremely competitive. All right, more than the partially funded opportunities. Partially funded, they will tell you, okay, we will take care of maybe a certain amount of the money, or we will take care of maybe your tuition, and you have to take care of your living expenses, your accommodation, and so on. But those who are fully funded, in fact, there are some that are fully funded that will even take care of your air travel, your visa application from Nigeria, your flight, down there. They'll pick you up from the airport, they will settle your accommodation, and every single thing. They will give you a computer, everything that you need, fully funded. But believe me, those opportunities are very, very competitive. Does it mean that you cannot apply for them because they are very competitive? Not at all. It just means that you have to package yourself very well. You have to position yourself properly so that you would, at least if they say that they are shortlisting 10 people out of 1,500 that applied, you should have chances of, getting to the top shortlist and so on. And sometimes there are also additional requirements. For example, a test of English language. And some of them might say that you should have an IELTS. Depending on the country, most of them will want an IELTS. There are two types of IELTS exams. You have the academic IELTS and you have the general IELTS. For most of the countries, they will want the academic IELTS. But some will specify that you should have a general IELTS. If you have a general and they ask for academic, I don't know why. It's the same English language. And it's really basically the same test. The differences are very small. But if you have an academic where they say they need a general, they don't take one for the other. You may be able to interchange IELTS and TOEFL on further conversation, but somehow general IELTS and academic IELTS don't seem to be able to swap that. But that could be an additional requirement. Sometimes also they can also ask for a GRE qualifications, GRE exams, and they may also ask for certain skills. You must be able to prove skill in a certain area. For example, in my field, they may say, okay, you must be good in Python programming, for example. You must be able to work with machine learning algorithms, and so on. In your fields, just think of the skills that may be required. They may state those ones, and you should be able to prove that you have competence in those for those skills to match in the program. Another thing is research or program alignment. How well do you fit into that program? They want to see that. How well do you fit into that program? And that's also how you look at it as well. If, for example, all the research that they are doing, you did psychology, all right, and you're going for a master's psychology, but all the programs, all the lecturers, they are filled. You are seeing that they are not really related to yours. It simply means that there may be no person to supervise you suitably. So that may not be a right fit for you. So when you're looking for that, you're looking for how eligible am I? How much do I have to position myself because of the competitiveness? What other additional requirements are they asking for that I need? And just how much do I align with the program? All right. Sorry, I'm rushing because of time, but that's not a problem. But how do you maximize opportunities? The most important thing is for you to, or one of the most important things is for you to apply early. Apply early. How do you apply early if you don't know early that the opportunity exists? So that means you should always be there. As you're scouting, always scout for opportunities. You can set a target for yourself. Maybe once a week, you go to the scholarship databases, you go on LinkedIn or wherever it is that you're searching for, and just look for these opportunities. It's not when the deadline is in 3 days' time that you start thinking of applying. I think that's going to be too late because there is a lot that needs to be done that you may not be able to complete within 3 days. And one of those things is getting recommendations. I'm going to talk about getting recommendations. So it's important that you know about these opportunities early and apply early. A lot of us Nigerians, we like waiting till when we are smelling the deadline. That's when you knew about it 2 months ago, but you just turn it away. This looks good though, and I'll apply for it. You saw it on a WhatsApp group, somebody sent it to you personally. This is nice, I will apply for it. 1 week goes, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks goes, and all of a sudden, there was this opportunity I saw. And then you now start scrambling to apply. Please, if you discover an opportunity, apply early. Another reason why you should apply early is that some of these scholarship opportunities are done on a rolling basis. So even though there is a deadline, let's say the deadline for one opportunity is 30th of May, for example, even though that deadline exists, they know the number of people they want to shortlist. So what they do on a rolling basis is, as applications come in, they assess them, and they are already making shortlists. If they see an applicant who they think this is the best fit for us, they begin to pick at that moment. So you discover that before the deadline, they may have already filled the quota. So apply early. All right. Another thing is for you to tailor each application to the program that you are applying for. As you're tailoring your cover letter, we're told earlier, please also tailor your application. There is no one size fits all. You have the single statement of purpose, a single application, and you're using that for every single university, every single program that you are applying for. No. Each one should be tailored to the particular program that you are applying for. Another thing is contacting supervisors. Contacting supervisors. Yes, you may need to contact supervisors. And in fact, I would encourage you to contact supervisors because it places you in a better light. We'll see how to make contact with supervisors a little bit later. Make contact with them. You go to the university website. You see who the faculty are, the staff, the professors, the doctors in for that program. Look at them. Look at the research they are doing. You can send them an email. All right, we call it code mails. Just send them a mail, introduce yourself, tell them what you want, and ask them if they can contact supervisors. It helps. Another thing is track your application. Track them. If you applied for an opportunity today, have someone you are tracking. You write it down. Today, I applied for this particular opportunity, and so on. And then you also state this was the deadline. They are supposed to communicate to us by so date. If by that date you don't get a response, you may want to send possibly a follow-up, right? So, but you can't do that if you are not tracking everything. Now let's look at a statement of purpose. I'm sure we've all heard SOP, statement of purpose, especially for universities in Canada, in the US, and so on. They will ask for a statement of purpose. A statement of purpose is a strategic argument about yourself. It's not your biography. It's not your story. I was born in so place. I grew up in a typical African family, and then I went to primary school in so grammar school, and then my second. It's not your biography. What it is an argument, a strong argument. You're placing yourself strategically. Why you? Why should they pick you? Out of the number of students or the applicants they are looking for, why should it be you who should get this scholarship opportunity? Or the admission even. What is this particular program? There are many other programs. You read, for example. There are many other programs that tailor towards physics. Why did you choose this particular one? Your BSc was BSc Physics. Simple. But then you are applying now for nuclear physics, MSc in nuclear physics. Why? Why this particular program? Why now? All right? So that's what your statement of purpose is going to train. So what's the structure of a standard SOP? Number one, you're going to have an introduction, a hook. From the first two sentences, you should be able to hook the reader, capture their attention. They should not be able to drop your SOP after reading the first sentence. From the very first line, first two lines, get them absorbed into your SOP. That's the introduction. And then you now talk about your academic background, what experiences you've garnered. Remember, everything is tailored towards that program. So if you have, for example, you want to do, I'm going to be using a lot of programs, mathematics, you want to go and do an MSc in mathematics, but you've had experience in marketing. You did sales girl somewhere, or sales boy. You did a customer care representative, and so on. These are experiences. But do these experiences match with this program? All right? So make sure they are tailored. You can have 1,000,001 experiences, but only use one that are fit to the program that you're applying for. So yes, your experience, your program fit. How do you fit in with the program? What are your career goals? What do you see yourself now? How do you see yourself now? And how do you see yourself after you have done this program? What are your career goals? And then, of course, important, a conclusion. So let's see some signals for bad SOPs and also for strong or good SOPs. A bad SOP will have generic language, cliches. Like I said, I'm passionate. I am hardworking. Everybody is hardworking. All right. Generic language is no metrics. There's nothing measurable about you. No program or faculty alignment. These are some signals of a bad SOP. So let's see examples. I am passionate and hardworking. I want to study at a prestigious university to achieve my dreams. A lot of people have seen things like this before, right? This is a very weak, very generic SOP. It says nothing about you. Or some people like to talk about their childhood. I have always been passionate about education since I was a child. I am hardworking and dedicated. I believe studying at your prestigious university will help me achieve my dreams. I have good grades and I am confident I will succeed. What's the evidence? What's the proof? How does it align with us? You know, all these are generic. So we should try to avoid this type of SOP. What does a good SOP look like? Or a strong SOP, a winning SOP? You talk about specific projects. You talk about specific experiences, quantifiable results, evidence. Put evidence. I did this. I achieved this. You know, and so on. Clear research direction and alignment with the faculty with the program. Let's look at this example. My final year project on IoT-based soil monitoring systems exposed critical inefficiencies in small-scale farming data usage in Nigeria. Sorry, this is computer science-based. Pardon me. This experience shaped my insight in data-driven agriculture. At XYZ University, the university you're talking about, Professor Smith, you've mentioned somebody within that institution. Professor Smith's work on precision agriculture using machine learning algorithms aligns directly with my research goal of developing scalable decision support systems for low resource farmers. You've created that connection already. Possibly it is even that Professor Smith who this SOP lands on his table. Immediately he's interested, isn't it? You'll be able to move on with that. I aim to leverage this training to contribute to sustainable agricultural systems in sub-Saharan Africa. You've mentioned your specific projects, your undergraduate project. You've showed quantifiable results, what you're able to do with your undergraduate project. You've shown clear research direction, where you are going to with your research, and also you've aligned with faculty. All right? So general tips, be specific, not emotional. Don't try to play on emotion. I am from a poor background. Don't use that. All right? Be specific. Show evidence. Prove it. I was able to do this. And whatever you claim, you should be able to attach evidence. There should be documents backing it. Show evidence. Mention faculty and their research. Like for that example, a Professor Smith was mentioned. The research that he carried out was mentioned. As much as possible, also keep it concise. While you are selling yourself strong, think of it still like an elevator pitch. Not as short as 1 minute read, but it should also be very concise. All right. Are we following? Should I stop? Yes. All right. Let's move on to supervisor outreach. Remember I talked about sometimes you may have to make contact with supervisor. Why? Making contact with supervisor is like having an insider, right? Especially when you've made the contact and that contact was successful. Before you even apply for the program or for the you would have contacted a faculty member, a professor in the department or in that faculty and so on. You've established that communication. When your application eventually comes in, they'll be able to say, yes, I've read this. I've seen this. This person contacted me. You will stand a higher chance than somebody whose name they have never seen. All right? So it increases your admission chances. It shows initiative, that you're able to take initiative. And it is very important to have the skill. Taking initiative is very important for successful postgraduate research. Because there will be times you need to take some decisions before you're able to reach out to your supervisors, to your team, and so on. So it shows initiative, and it also helps to refine your application. In the process of reaching out to that person, if he or she responded to you, they may give you tips. I said, okay, this looks good. You look like a good fit. When you are applying, please include this, mention my name, and so on. You've already gotten leverage, all right? So it can help you to refine your application. Like I said, one of the ways of reaching out to them, we are not there. You cannot book a flight just to go and see supervisors there. So what do? We send emails, and we call them cold mails. Cold mails because they were not solicited. You've never met this person. You don't know them. They don't know you. Or you just send a mail. All right. So that's why they are called cold mail. A typical cold mail will, of course, subject line. Please, the subject line is very important. A lot of you've gotten a lot of mails where the subject line is very vague, makes no meaning. Imagine your subject line just saying hello. Out of 100 mails that I receive, if I see one that is just saying hello, how likely am I to click and to open that particular mail? Very unlikely. All right. So subject line, very important. Craft it, let it be catchy. A prospective student, and so on. Then you have your introduction. Introduce yourself. Not exactly as this is not your SOP now. This is a contact you're trying to reach out to a supervisor. And then research alignment. How do you align yourself? How does your research or your research goals, your research area align with your own current research? Why did you choose them? They are not the only ones in that faculty. They are not the only staff. Why did you choose them? The truth is, even if you chose several other people from the same university, treat this one as if it is only you I'm writing to. You are the only one. I loved your work. This is the research you have done, and it aligns. State it as if they are the only ones that you've contacted. Meanwhile, of course, it's not only one person you contact. And then place a clear request. Please guide me on whether I should apply or how I should apply. Are you taking supervisees? And so on. We're going to look at the sample email. Another a tip is keep your email under 200 words. They are very busy. They don't want to be reading stories, paragraphs. All right? So keep it concise. Send to multiple relevant supervisors. Keep track and then follow up after 7 to 10 days. You send the mail, wait for a response. Track your mail. You sent a mail. Some of us, we don't open our mail in, I don't know how many days. But I think for virtually everybody who is using a smartphone, you can configure your on your phone. So check your mails regularly and then be able to follow up. If they didn't respond within 7 to 10 days, you can send a gentle reminder, right? Hello, Professor. So I reached out to you about 7 to 10 days ago on this particular matter. Restate it again and then ask for feedback. And if after that reminder they don't contact you, it's not likely they will. So move on to the next person. All right. Let's look at examples. A weak cold email, there'll be no personalization. It's some form of begging. It's almost as if, pity me, please. Consider me, please. There's no research focus. There's no clear value. You are obviously not offering value to him because quite a number of them, they have what they call research grants, right? So they are looking for students to come and work with them to fulfill that particular research. To show clear value. That when you come into their team, you are not going to be a liability. You are going to be an added value to that research. So example of a weak email. Dear sir, I want to study in your university. Please accept me. I am hardworking and passionate. Kindly find my CV. And you write your name. How likely are you to get it? How likely are you to get a response? Not even get the scholarship or how likely are you to going to get a response from this email? Very unlikely, right? Let's look at a stronger email. It cites the professor's work. There is aligned research interest, and of course, it's concise. Example, subject line. Prospective MSc student, interest in data mining research. Again, this is tailored towards computer science. Dear Dr. Johnson, my name is Faith, a computer science graduate from Soso University with a focus on data mining and machine learning. I recently read your paper. You have to read it before you're able to talk about it, right? I recently read your paper on adaptive clustering in high-dimensional data, and I'm particularly interested in your approach to handling sparsity. That means you read it and digested it. You've hooked this man already. right? Which aligns with my current research on optimization techniques and clustering algorithms. I'm applying to the MSc program at ABC University and will be honored to work under your supervision. You're already, linking. A direct question. Would you kindly advise if you are accepting students for the upcoming session? I've attached my CV and transcripts for your review. Thank you for your time. This one is likely going to get a response. Even if the response is, oh, sorry, I've received your mail, but unfortunately, the program is full. At least you got a response. All right. And it's very likely that even if you didn't apply or you didn't send a mail at the next time, but an opportunity comes up, you may remember, oh, somebody sent me a mail and they could look for you. I've heard of stories like that. They applied for one, said, sorry, this is not available at a particular point in time, and so on. And the person moved on, forgot about it. Months later, suddenly got mail from this person. Who is this? Who is this person? Is it remember, and person remembered them and so on. So that's that. All right, very quickly, let's look at recommendation. One of the things that they will ask you for is a recommendation, or at least 2 recommendation letters. Most of them will ask for at least 2 recommendation letters. It is categorically that your recommendation letters should be from academic supervisors. That means people who know you academically, whether they taught you in school or they supervised your project. Some will say specifically academic recommendations. And some can give a leeway and say at least 1 academic recommendation. That means you can also get another professional recommendation. You've worked somewhere before, so your boss where you're working at or where you worked previously could also stand in as a referee, so a recommender. So it's important to know the criteria. If they don't specify, go ahead and choose. But as much as possible, don't choose your brother, your uncle, your sister, all those intimate family relationship recommendations. They want, as much as possible, professional. You should be able to pick at least 1 academic and 1 professional. If you are just a fresh graduate, certainly all your recommendations may be academic. All right. So who do you choose as your recommender? People to write recommendation letters for you. A strong recommendation letter is not just praise; it is strategic endorsement. Who do you choose? Lecturers who know your work well, not lecturers who taught you introduction to the course you are taking in 100 level and you never had contact with them again till you graduated. They can only speak to that introductory course that they taught you. It's a weak recommendation. So lecturers who know you well, who know your work well, your project supervisors, I mentioned that, employers, if relevant. Choose referees. Choose referees who can write. Choose referees who are not lazy to write, who can coordinate their English, please. What I'm talking about. Choose referees who can write what needs to be written, what can sell you. Your SOP is selling you, your qualifications are selling you, but your recommendation letter is also important. It's a selling point. Choose somebody who can write a proper recommendation letter for you. Always provide context to the person. Provide context. Very important. I've had people reaching out to me. They graduated about 6 years ago, 5 years ago. Obviously, most, if we're not close, I've possibly forgotten about you. Even if we're close, if we're not really in touch, I don't know what you've done between then and now. So, send context. Send an updated CV. Send your SOP. If possible, send your LinkedIn profile so that the person is able to know you, know what you did then, know what you're doing now, what you're capable of, your skills. Send context, please. It is very, very important. And when you provide this context, of course, it enables strong writing. If possible, send a draft, send a guide. Okay, this is what is required, and so on. Some countries, SOP is a big thing. It's a very big thing. Recommendation letters, very, 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 very big thing. For example, you're applying to Canada, please choose the strongest recommender that you can get. A weak recommendation letter will be vague. There will be no examples of how the person, no examples of what the person has done, There's no show of credibility or anything. For example, Faith is a good student. She's hardworking and respectful. I recommend her for admission. Full stop. And this is a recommendation letter. So get you not just admission but a scholarship. How likely are you going to get this? Very unlikely, right? A strong recommendation letter on the other states specific achievements. And it is only somebody who knows you who can state this. Or at least somebody who you've given context to. Alright? It shows quantified impact. It shows clear academic judgment. For example, I supervised Faith undergraduate's thesis or project or dissertation on optimization in clustering algorithms where she demonstrated, very important, exceptional analytical ability by improving convergence efficiency by 18% over baseline model. Her ability to translate theoretical concepts into practical implementations distinguish her from her peers. That's, very clear impact. I strongly recommend her for graduate study, particularly in this field, data-driven research environment, and so on. So this is an example of a strong recommendation letter. It's not just saying she's hardworking. I know her very well. I have known her for 10 years. That's not enough. How do you know her? What did she know when you knew her? What was she doing? What's she doing now? What has she improved on? How can she add value to this program, and so on? So very, very strong recommendation letter. How do you secure the right recommendation letter, a strong recommendation letter? Number one, identify the right person, the right people. Identify the right people. Pick the right people. It doesn't have to be the most senior in your department or in your organization, but pick the right people. Another thing is to ask early. Please ask early for recommendations. I've had cases of people reaching out to me out of the blue. We've not communicated for 5 years. All of a sudden, I see this person's message on WhatsApp or a call and say, please, I am applying for a scholarship. The deadline is in 3 days' time. I need a recommendation letter from you. As how? Please ask early. Give time, And you can only ask early if you found out about the opportunity early. Remember I said you found out about an opportunity that is closing in 3 days' time. Within that 3 days' time, you want to secure a strong recommendation? It's not likely. Not likely. Because the person that you are asking for is not somebody who is idle to do. He is busy. The chances that he'll be able to do it on that day are slim. The following day, the next. So please, give time. And then provide context. Your CV, your SOP draft, your transcripts to remind them of how good you were in school. And the programs you've applied for. State it categorically. I applied for an MSc in Toso University, and so on. And then politely remind them before the deadline. Politely remind before the deadline. I've received some very impolite reminders. Calling at 9 p.m. in the night. Ma, please. I sent you have not responded to me. It's like you have not read my message. Politely send reminders so that you'll be able to secure your strong recommendation. By the right people, ask early, provide context, and politely before the deadline. In conclusion, avoid copy and paste SOPs. Avoid copy and paste SOPs. Avoid copy and paste SOPs. Avoid plagiarism. Copy and paste is simply plagiarism. If you have a case of somebody who applied for a scholarship, I think it was in the US, the SOP was very strong and the person got, of course, with strong qualifications and so on, the person got it. The person was processing visa ready to travel. I don't know who, I don't know what. Somebody will say it's village people. But somehow they went back to that SOP and somehow discovered that it was plagiarized. And they revoked it. Imagine, you have already skilled. This was a success. You have already announced to those of village people that I am traveling. Alright? But because of a plagiarized SOP, this is a true life story. It's not made up. True life story. The person lost the opportunity. Alright? So, I know that there are systems now or better systems in place that we even track plagiarism at the point of application. Avoid plagiarism. Don't plagiarize your SOP. Don't plagiarize your cover letter. Don't plagiarize. Avoid generic emails. When you're sending an email to a supervisor, a code mail, or they ask you to send a mail with your documents attached, whatever it is, avoid sending generic emails. Have weak references. If you know this person cannot write a good reference, please don't ask them to write it for you. It is better you look for somebody else. And then avoid late applications. Finally, success in scholarships is not being the best student globally or the best candidate globally. It is about being the most aligned, the most intentional, and well-presented candidate. Remember, you are not just applying for the sake of applying. You are positioning yourself to be noticed. I pray God will help us in Jesus' name. Thank you very much.
Let's put our hands together.